World War II, a cataclysmic global conflict from 1939 to 1945, pitted the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan, against the Allies, comprised of Britain, the Soviet Union, the US, and China. The seeds of this devastating war were sown in 1933, when Adolf Hitler rose to power in Germany, exploiting the global economic depression and the nation's bitterness over the humiliating Treaty of Versailles. He preached the supremacy of the German race and embarked on an aggressive campaign to rebuild the military, flagrantly violating the treaty's terms. France and Britain, desperate to avoid another war, initially allowed Hitler to expand Germany's territory unchecked. He annexed Austria and the Sudetenland, a German-speaking region of Czechoslovakia, before invading the entire country. The real tipping point came in September 1939, when Germany blitzed into Poland from the west, with the Soviet Union soon invading from the east. Britain and France declared war on Germany, but their initial response was tepid at best. In 1940, the war's intensity escalated as Germany invaded Denmark and Norway to secure vital iron supplies, and then swiftly conquered Belgium, the Netherlands, and France, using their formidable blitzkrieg tactics, rapid, overwhelming assaults designed for quick victories. The British Expeditionary Force found itself encircled at Dunkirk, but managed a miraculous evacuation across the English Channel. That summer, Germany launched an aerial onslaught on Britain, known as the Blitz. Despite relentless bombing, the resilient Royal Air Force and the indomitable spirit of the British people thwarted the Luftwaffe's efforts. Italy, under the fascist dictator Mussolini, expanded the conflict further by invading North Africa and attempting to conquer Greece. In 1941, Germany's ambitions grew with Operation Barbarossa, the largest surprise land invasion in history, targeting the Soviet Union. The Nazis initially saw rapid success, but soon found themselves mired in the vast expanse of the Soviet Union, hampered by harsh winters, treacherous terrain, and fierce Soviet resistance. Key battles at Stalingrad and Kursk in 1943 marked the turning of the tide, forcing Germany into a grueling retreat. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, Japan sought regional dominance and resources, seizing Manchuria from China in 1931. In December 1941, Japan's surprise attack on the U.S. Navy base at Pearl Harbor drew America fully into the war. Despite Japan's initial successes, their advance was checked in 1942 after the pivotal Battle of Midway. The tide of war shifted dramatically in favor of the Allies in 1942. The British triumphed over German and Italian forces at the Battle of El Alamein in Egypt, marking a turning point in North Africa. By 1943, Mussolini's regime had collapsed, and Allied forces landed in Sicily, prompting Germany to take control of Italy. On the Eastern Front, the Soviets, now allied with the US and Britain, relentlessly pushed German forces back across Eastern Europe. June 1944 saw the monumental D-Day invasion, where American, British, and Canadian forces stormed the beaches of Normandy, initiating the liberation of German-occupied France. The Allies also intensified their strategic bombing of German cities. By May 1945, with the Soviets capturing Berlin and Hitler's suicide, Germany surrendered. In the Pacific, the Allies relentlessly closed in on Japan. Following devastating bombing campaigns and Japan's refusal to surrender, the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Coupled with the Soviet invasion of Manchuria, Japan capitulated in September 1945. World War II was the deadliest and most widespread conflict in human history, claiming around 60 million lives, with immense losses in the Soviet Union, China, and among Jews during the Holocaust. The war's end saw the birth of the United Nations and a push for political and economic integration, especially in Europe, to prevent future conflicts. The war also marked the decline of European colonial empires and the rise of the US and the Soviet Union as superpowers, setting the stage for the Cold War.